Alright guys, we're going to show you a battery replacement on a 2013 BMW X1. No, it is not under the hood, it's actually in the trunk. We're going to go back there, show you how to remove it, put it back in, and program everything so that it can operate properly. Alright guys, so once you get your few trunk pieces removed, you'll be left with basically this bracket. Obviously the battery right here, it's not that difficult to remove. So we're going to walk you through that real quick and just show you what to do. I'll start by removing these two nuts holding that little bracket on. Set those to the side, don't lose them. Once you pick up that bracket, there may be a wire attached to this. You're just going to want to remove it real quick. If you don't, just carefully set it to the side. But I have a nice fancy tool that we can just remove it. Once you do that, you're going to want to disconnect your ground. You will lose power to the vehicle. Don't worry about it. You do not need a trickle charger. You just need to have the ability to reprogram the battery. If you do not, definitely don't do this because you may end up actually causing an issue with your alternator or your new battery. I just set the ground down next to the battery, that way it stays away from the positives. It shouldn't obviously short out now that it's disconnected, but we just do it for safety. After you do that, under this little cover on your fuse block that's on the battery, there's a 13mm nut. You're going to go ahead and remove that next. So basically once you have your 13mm nut removed, on the side of this fuse block where these metal strips are, there's a little tab you can stick your screwdriver in, pry it a little bit, and it will release off the side of the battery. I'll show you once we get this up. So once you have this up, I can show you right here. It's this little tab. Like I said, you just stick a screwdriver or something flat in there just to pry it out. Before we remove that, we're actually going to get our negative terminal out of the way just enough so that we can get down there and get the holder for the battery loosen off. Alright, so right down on the side of the right hand side of this battery there is a 10mm for the bracket that holds the battery in place. Let's go ahead and remove that. Once you have that removed, you can just leave it loose. You don't have to completely remove it. I leave it loose because I can usually squeeze these in and out pretty easily. You're going to take the fuse block out of the way. You're going to take a 10mm, loosen up your positive terminal, and set both of these to the side. You can usually just hold them while you do this. There is a air hose on the side of this battery that allows it to breathe. You're just going to want to remove it real quick. It's real easy. Flathead screwdriver, I just have a pair of pliers for this. Then, lift your battery up. Alright guys, once you have your new battery, everything's just basically in reverse. Drop your battery in, put your mount in, the bracket. I actually ended up taking it out just to show you guys, but you can leave it in like I said. It comes out and it'll go back in with it. If you find it to be too much of a pain to do, just take it out. It's not hard to get back in. The only other thing I'm going to mention real quick is when you guys go to put this breather line on, if for some reason it does come out, there's this little piece of foam. You can just pull it out real quick. And this actually locks onto a little nipple down here. It just slides on basically. Reattach it to your battery. You can slide this on right away if you want. Doesn't really matter. Little hole on the side of the battery it'll go into. That's all you gotta do. Now we're gonna put the rest back together. that's all she wrote. Put everything back in and show you how to reset the battery and the computer. Alright guys, now that we got our battery installed, we got our scan tool hooked up, ignition is already on. We are already connected, so we're not going to show you that. But basically, depending on the scan tool you have, or if someone else is doing this for you, you don't have to worry about it. But you would go into service, resets, and relearns for us. Click replace battery, functional resets. Now, there's two options, battery replacement and change battery type. If you are changing the battery type from OEM, which would be an increase in the amp hours or decrease, obviously a decrease in amp hours wouldn't be recommended, you would click change battery type. Now it'll give you some warnings. Make sure you read through this, but for us, none of this is going to apply because we already have this done. So this is the battery type that's already been programmed in. It's 80 amp hours. It's an AGM battery. You can go in and edit this. It'll give you a bunch of options. Ours is already an 80 amp hour. It's already matched to what was previously in there. It's the same exact battery, so we don't have to make that change. You just click battery replacement, register new battery. It's going to give you a warning here explaining some things. Definitely recommend reading this just because it is some useful information. You would think that changing a battery wouldn't matter. However, if you don't register a battery replacement, you can actually screw up the charging system on your vehicle and potentially cause damage to modules. It's not common, but it does happen. So we hit continue, continue again, reset's done. Some cars are a little bit different, but it's not complicated. Guys, thanks for watching our video on how to replace a battery in this BMW. If you liked it, click like, subscribe, and follow us for more. This is one of our first videos. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it was helpful. We do plan on getting more videos out on some more interesting, more helpful stuff, but we figured let's start with something simple like a battery replacement, and we'll go from there, see how the videos do. Thank you. Take care.